to be the first to welcome Rick Dollinger, I hope, back to elected office where he belongs. I know that Kelly didn't tell you how long she's been working in this field, but I've been at it for over 30 years. And I thought, we should have come a long way further than we have in 30 years. We are just now in Washington facing a serious crisis, and one of the reasons that I'm so glad that Rick is going to be back in Albany, because New York State has always been a leader in women's rights. Obviously, how could they not? Since all of it started right around here, around us. But the HHS has promulgated what they call some regulations on conscience. Not satisfied that there's always a conscience clause already, that if you are vitally opposed to abortions, you do not have to be involved in it. They have changed it now so that the entire hospital does not have to help you. And it is so poorly devised that it really could keep women from getting any sort of health care in this country. I can't begin to tell you how draconian this thing is. And if a hospital does not certify to HHS that they have allowed anybody with any qualm at all to opt out, they lose their federal money. Now, 126 of it started with a letter to tell them that we're not going to put up with it, and we won't, because I think next year, obviously, we're going to have a president. We're going to have ourselves in Congress, and we're going to have a Senate that is big enough to vote something every now and then. Worked like our hair's on fire for 2 years, only to send it to the Senate and watch it die there. So I think as much as anything else, I'm praying for a heavy Democrat presence in the U.S. Senate. Not content with just crouching on our rights throughout the entire administration, they've also gone after us on emergency contraception, if they can't stand that. Now, I think New York State already has that. Am I right? I think yes. This is terribly important that we can hang on to this morning after pill. But affordable health care and affordable birth control is so important. You know that due to a fluke, we lost the opportunity to provide for college students the low-cost contraception because somebody screwed up a bill. I'd like to believe it was a mistake, but unfortunately, with the Bush administration, we've been unable to remedy that. And we will certainly have that done next year because that's terribly important. One other thing, though, that I need to talk to you about tonight, I want to kind of concentrate on choice, which is so important, and I think women of my generation in this room know how important that is. Because back when we were young, when there was absolutely no opportunity for women to do anything, and the awful things that happened, the decisions made to them, it was always the case where men in the legislature somewhere in a blue suit and a red tie decided what we could do and what we couldn't do. So we have to change that, and nobody would be better in the Senate to help us do that than Rick Dollinger. Right? I co-chair the pro-choice caucus, so this is my life, but in addition, I need to talk to you for a minute about equal pay. This is one of the worst things. 45 years ago, equal pay was passed in this country. At that point, we were making 59 cents on the dollar. Now we're up to 77. Big deal, right? Yeah. Now, let me tell you just for a minute where we got this year with a woman named Lily Ledbetter. Lily had worked for Goodyear in Alabama for 28 years. She had worked her way up to a supervisor. Everybody knew she was a supervisor. There were men supervisors. She was equal to them at meetings. Everything happened. But when Lily was ready to retire, a friend slipped her a note and said, all these years you've been paid less than the men who had the same job that you have. And Lily investigated, found that to be true, took it to court where she was given a rather handsome settlement because of the awful thing that happened to her. The statistics are that if you were paid less in a job of equal worth, equal job, equal pay, that you could lose between $400,000 and $2 million in your lifetime of work. It affects not only your family, it affects your retirement benefits, your Social Security, and your pension. Lilly tried to, she got the settlement, but Goodyear appealed to the Supreme Court, who decided in their dubious wisdom that since Lilly had not complained in the first 6 months of her employment at Goodyear, that she had no standing in court. Now, everybody knows you don't complain the first 6 months you're working somewhere. You don't even know what anybody else is making. And I'm pretty sure Goodyear was almost against the law to know. But the Supreme Court voted majority to deny her that right. These are just some of the reasons that awful things that have gone on in this Bush administration. If I get started on it, we'll be here all night, and I know you want to get to debate. But let me tell you that we may think we've come a long way, but it is hanging by a slender thread. And those of us who've come through this all these years are so delighted to see the young people be involved and to understand